Hi, my name is Gloria. I attend AJC here in Modesto. Here's my story. I didn't grow up in an apostolic church. I grew up in a home that didn't really know God. We knew God only on Christmas and Easter. And those were rarely we would even bring up the name. We didn't speak about it. It was just live your own life. I grew up with my grandparents. I was taken away from my parents. We grew up living in their care. For a while we were taken away from them and put into a foster system. We lived with people we didn't know. And I say we because it was me and my brother. I'm the youngest out of us two. And there my life just changed. I went from being a daddy's girl and a mama's baby to living in a family that I didn't know. I was the quiet of the two. It was easier to place my brother into a group home and me into a family. But luckily, we made our way back to our grandparents. You know, I look back now thinking, wow, you know, God's really great for sending us back. I lived there until I was 13. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, where there's gangs and violence. I used to run with my brother thinking that I was just one of the boys. I used to hop fences, I used to tag, I used to, you name it, I did it. At the age of 13, I moved here to Modesto, California, where I thought things were getting better. I changed my lifestyle. Instead of hanging out with my brother, I started hanging out with cheerleaders and everything, thinking, okay, this is way better. I was really deceiving myself. I started drinking at the age of 14, going out, partying, doing whatever I thought was right, what I thought was fun, what I thought it was to be as a child. At the age of 16, I met an ex-boyfriend. Started going into his lifestyle. He was in a gang and he did drugs, partied all the time, and that's what I thought was right. At the age of 17, I moved out of my parents, out of my mother's, and I left to San Francisco. Ran away with my boyfriend thinking I was big and I was bad and I could take care of myself. And again, I deceived myself into thinking this was a good way to live. At the age of 17, I moved to San Francisco with my ex-boyfriend, thinking that I was all big and bad. I left my mom, everybody. And I remember that was a wake-up call. It was the worst time. It was a reality check of just life itself. You don't really know somebody until you move in with them. He became from this loving, nice person to always angry. It started off as just emotional abuse, and then it escalated to a lot of mental and physical abuse. I remember fighting and just anger from this person that I thought that loved me. He really didn't. And I remember just feeling alone. And I didn't have anything. I didn't have family. My family, when I chose to leave when I was 17, my family told me that they don't want anything to do with me. And I remember just sitting utterly by myself. And it's funny because you sit by yourself and you're like, God, help me. What am I doing? I need a change. I need something that's different. And He'll put an opportunity in front of you. And you go the other way. And I think sometimes it's just because we want the change, but it hurts us more to do the change. I moved in with, still staying with my ex, I moved in with his brother's girlfriend. And she brought me to my first church service. And I remember just feeling alone, like, didn't have no one. Even though I had physically people around me, I was alone. just abandoned. And I remember crying my eyes out. I had no idea what the preaching was about. I have no idea about anything. I just remember sitting inside the sanctuary crying my eyes out. And I remember thinking, what's wrong with me? You know, I was happy 3 minutes ago. Why am I sad? Why am I going through this? And it never touched me. It never hit me that it was God pulling at my heart. It was God, you know, telling me, you need a change. You need a difference. After that, they would invite us to Bible studies, and my ex-boyfriend would go to hang out with his family, and there were some of the family members that were drinking during the Bible study, but I remember going and hearing and wanting to know, who is this God? Who is this person that saves lives? Who is this person that so many people cling to? Again, you know, God puts those changes in front of us, and it's up to us whether we take them or we leave. And I left. I started to fall back into the same ways. You know, I wasn't a heavy drinker. I wasn't, you know, a big drug addict or anything. But I was dependent on people. I remember a couple years later passed by, and my ex-boyfriend went to jail. And I remember when he was gone, I would, you know, turn on gospel music and I'd be like, Lord, help me. I need this change. I don't want to live this. And I knew I was dependent on him. I knew that there was something about him that I couldn't get away from. And I remember crying to him like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to do this. And slowly, just his presence irritated me. I remember him calling me from jail, and I'm like, I don't even want to talk to you. And this was somebody that I lived for. Every single day, I yearned to be with him. We never apart because I couldn't stand to be apart from him. I was dependent. And when he came back, it hit me. This guy does not care. Everything I went through, the countless money I put in, the countless time I put in, just everything, he didn't care. I was still just this thing that was on the side of him. I remember drinking a lot after when he came back, because it was like, okay, well, this guy that I thought loved me, this guy that I thought, you know, was everything to me, didn't have the same feelings for me, didn't care about me, didn't anything. So I needed something else. And I remember drinking. I would drink at 10 o'clock in the morning. I would drink until 9 o'clock at night. It wouldn't be like to the point where I would slur my words or drunk, but I was drinking something just in order to numb that loneliness, numb that feeling. Afterwards, I remember just, this isn't right, Jessica. What you're doing isn't right. What you're doing isn't good. And I remember saying, okay, I need to change. Again, I started looking for a church, and every time I would go, something would come up. Something would pop up, and it would stop me from going. I started working out and slowly getting myself together, thinking I was getting myself together. And I got invited to AJC. I came on a Mother's Day, 2012. And I remember sitting in the back. You know, we came a little late, like 5 minutes late. And I remember crying again, just bawling my eyes out. And I know I'm like, not a mother, this has nothing, whatever they're talking about. And it wasn't anything sad. It was about rejoicing, being happy, you know, great mothers. And I'm like, why am I crying? You know, what? This has nothing to do with me. What's going on? And again, I thought to myself, like, when's the last time I felt this? When's the last time this happened? And it was that one time I went to church. And after that, I never left, because that feeling of, the feeling of, you know, you're alone, but something's there with you. Something's tugging at your heart. Something's, you know, in a way hugging you. something I never felt. I attended AJC. I never missed a day. I yearned to be here. I remember coming on a Tuesday night for prayer, and that's when I think God touched me the most. It wasn't a church service. It wasn't during, a praise dance or praise break or anything. It was during Tuesday night prayer, just a regular old Tuesday night. And I remember walking to the altar and just saying, I'm done. This is it. If I don't choose this, I am going to die in my situation. The life I was living, I was still living with the ex. I was still battling every day, and it was hard. In a way, I was just tired of the life. You live a life and nothing fulfills it. Nothing's worth it. Nothing's filling that void. And that's the first time I felt who he was. I remember the day I decided to get baptized. God has a way of humbling you. I got baptized with 2 other girls. And I remember just thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be awesome. The first girl, you hear everybody yelling and shouting and screaming. You hear the choir going crazy. The second girl, it's kind of dying down. By the time I come up, it's quiet. Half of the church is gone, and there's barely maybe 2 or 3 singers. But it was the best day of my life. After going underneath that water, I felt like everything, who I was, my shame, everything, my anger, whoever I used to be, was left in that water. I just want to encourage you, whatever you're going through, God can help you. Whether you're struggling with addiction, He's there. Whether you're dealing with problems at home or with friends or anything, He can be all you need.